You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the National Breakfast Program launched on the island of Grand Bahama. Also, as tourism records record-breaking numbers, Bahamasair is announcing the return of the Raleigh, North Carolina flight. And the Parliamentary Commissioner giving an update on the upcoming by-election. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, everyone. I'm Raven Davis, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news tonight, the Ministry of Education has officially launched its National School Breakfast Program, marking a significant step in addressing student nutrition and absenteeism. 8 schools nationwide have been selected to participate in this initiative, with Holmes Rock Primary School in Grand Bahama making the list. Jolanda Thompson-Everest brings us the full report.
In a promise kept by the Davis-led administration, the pilot of the National School Breakfast Program has taken flight, aiming to insert breakfast programs in all schools across the nation. The program, initially proposed by Prime Minister Philip Davis and Education Minister Gladys Hannah Martin, addressing concerns regarding absenteeism amongst students. It is set to continue throughout the school year, providing nourishing breakfast to approximately 2,000 students in 8 schools nationwide. The second phase of the National School Breakfast Program rollout witnessed Holmes Rock Primary School commence its first meal distribution, ensuring many students received their first meal of the day. In attendance for the official launch was the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, along with officers from the Ministry of Education.
Well, I just want to especially thank my cabinet colleague, the Honorable Gladys Hannah Martin, for ensuring that this program started. It is something that is so critical for many of the students in these communities, especially in areas like West Grand Bahama. I also want to, of course, thank the Prime Minister, who's been a champion behind this and been so supportive in these types of programs that impact communities, it impacts families, and of course it impacts children.
Officers Diane Pennerman and Desiree Higgs share how the process works, adding that Holmes Rock Primary School met the criteria that secured them a spot on the pilot list.
Holmes Rock Primary School was selected as the pilot program for Grand Bahama as a result of meeting 2 criteria of we had low attendance, and one of the intervention was to provide feeding for the students so that they can come to school, and the other criteria would be for a population that's under 500. So we're excited that today we were able to launch the breakfast program.
That we wanted to make sure that these schools that have a population of less than the 600, that it's a manageable program where all students can be fed and that the program is sustainable. We are thinking about the logistics. We have to consider the factor that we have to ship the items from New Providence into the various family islands. And we want to make sure that whatever is being fed to our students, that everybody is getting the same thing across the board.
Principal of Holmes Rock Primary School, Alana Lindsay, says she is grateful for the school being mentioned amongst those that were considered to be a part of the pilot program. Lindsay also adding that this launch was timely.
I believe that as a result of the increase in the demand from parents to assist, she made it possible. She ensured that our children had access or have access to a healthy breakfast, okay, which would enable them to be more effective and efficient throughout the day.
The 8 pilot schools for the National School Breakfast Program includes 4 in New Providence, 1 in Grand Bahama, Exuma, Abaco, and Cat Island. Now, as the ministry continues to review this initiative, it is expected to materialize into a few more schools. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. Good news for travelers this holiday season, as officials from Bahamasair announced the relaunch of their seasonal Raleigh to Freeport non-stop flight this month. Director of Sales Samantha Lucky says the inaugural flight was successful and has garnered positive feedback from both Grand Bahama and Raleigh. Our Azure Quant reports.
It's that time of year again when tourists travel to the country to escape the cold weather up north. Well, Bahamasair is making that easier with the return of its Raleigh to Freeport nonstop 2-hour flight. The flight's relaunch will happen on November 12th, and the Director of Sales, Marketing and Commercial, Samantha Lucky, says they're looking forward to another successful season. The airline's Boeing 737-700 aircraft, with a capacity of 138 seats, has been transporting passengers between Raleigh and Freeport, providing an easy access to both the city and island. Samantha Lucky, Bahamasair's Director of Sales, Marketing and Commercial, expresses her delight in the flight's return, highlighting the unique product Freeport offers to travelers.
We realized in the summer that loads were very, very light. So we decided to make the flight seasonal, and that's why we're now having what we call a relaunch, because we're bringing in the winter season again, with the winter birds coming down to Freeport to enjoy all the amenities and all that Freeport has to offer.
The flight was launched in November of 2022, and Lucky explains that Raleigh has a strong Bahamian presence, playing a pivotal role in the decision-making process.
When we studied the structure and the community in Raleigh-Durham, we realized two things. One, we have a huge Bahamian diaspora, especially from the Freeport, Grand Bahama area. And two, it's a lot of schools in the area. So we figured that, most students and the college professors, etc., will want a quiet getaway.
The flight is on Thursdays and Sundays. Lucky emphasizes the economic impact the flight has on the local community.
When Bahamasair lands with those tourists, you can feel the excitement among the community. It brings a lot of economic relief to the community. We have the taxi drivers, we have the hotel. In fact, we partner with Grand Lucayo, and they give us a super rate for passengers that booked on Bahamasair. So you can see the returns on this flight throughout the community.
The airline's director says Bahamians have warmly embraced the flight, as Raleigh also has a lot to offer.
Not only Grand Bahamians, but actually people from Nassau also. So they would go from Nassau to Freeport, Freeport to Raleigh-Durham. So both Nassau and Freeport support in the flight. Raleigh-Durham has good shopping. In my opinion, you could probably find better deals than you will in Florida.
Again, the flight's relaunch will begin on November 12th and end on May 30th, 2024. Lucky also announcing their Orlando to Freeport flight that will also begin on November 12th and end on January 7th, 2024. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant.
Well, as the residents of West Grand Bahama and Bimini gear up for the upcoming by-election, the Parliamentary Commissioner is pulling back the curtain to shed light on the intricacies of election operations, offering insights into the poll-working process, handling of ballot boxes, and the training of election workers. Our Rumiko Knowles joins us live in studio with a glimpse into the democratic process at play. Rumiko?
Thanks, Raven. Well, the Parliamentary Commissioner is unveiling the details of election operations, offering a glimpse into the complex machinery that drives the democratic process in the Bahamas. This disclosure comes as the nation prepares for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency by-election. Arthur Taylor outlines the process for poll workers and those taking part.
We just came off an election, less than 2 years ago now. And we used the same persons, those who were available to us and who were already trained. But we still had training sessions with them. I must add, we have Ms. Arthur, who is the administrator in Bimini, as his deputy returning officer on assistant. In that case, we used the people who were there, we trained them, we had to bring in 1 or 2 new people.
There are 14 polling divisions in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency. Advanced poll voting is scheduled for November 15th, 2023.
Monday past, we'd have sent out notice online and to our consulates in the various places around the world, asking them to be aware that we've put it out. Persons will go online and identify where they are and that they're interested in voting in this upcoming by-election because they are from the West Grand Bahama Bimini constituency. When they would turn it into council offices, They will then inform us how many persons they have, and we'll then put the wheels in motion to send presiding officers there to those places.
An essential question during every election is, how do officials ensure transparency in the voting process?
Most of the time, we advise the parties involved. Once we find out on nomination day who's running, we'll know who to talk with about identifying them and having agents aware of the movement of the boxes. You see? Mm-hmm. And we will let them know when they're arriving. They will be there when we hand them over to the presiding officers. And then on the return, the night of the election, they do a count, which is the unofficial count. The very next day, we do the more official count.
Taylor also sheds light on the process for Bimini, which is geographically separated from the constituency.
The boxes transferred from here to Grand Bahama for the recount. In that case, we'll have the agents from the different parties who are participating involved in the movement of the boxes. They'll be on the plane, whatever plane it is we have, to bring them over, along with the presiding officer and the officer who is responsible for the box, the police that is, and the assistant returning officer from Bimini.
Now, we attempted to find out how many persons have registered for the upcoming by-election, and the Parliamentary Commissioner notes that they are in the process of cleaning up the register, and an updated registry will be released on November 13th. He also says the names of the voters will be posted in the local daily, as well as at the information centers at the various polling stations. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Back to you, Raven.
Thanks so much, Rumiko. Well, the Progressive Liberal Party holding its first rally in Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock tonight. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis and standard-bearer Kingsley Smith will address supporters on plans for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency. Meantime, the Free National Movement's candidate Bishop Ricardo Grant is expected to be on the grounds in Bimini over the next few days to meet with supporters. Nomination day for all candidates is on November 6th. The by-election date is set for Wednesday, November 22nd. Meanwhile, Coalition of Independents candidate for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency, Lincoln Bain, says come election day, he will secure the seat, bringing about a transformative victory in West Grand Bahama and Bimini. He says he's heard the concerns of constituents and promises responsive representation. Here's that report.
The campaign trail has been phenomenal in terms of the response of the people, and we thank the people for welcoming us. People really want to see change.
But the response from residents has sometimes been disheartening, according to Bain, who says the constituents are desperate for real representation.
There's some people who are even more disappointed now that the FNM and PLP have joined the campaign trail because they feel like their roofs are still damaged. They're still in a state of hurt and pain. And I'm glad that I could come here to at least be a voice of the people to say that don't just come for their vote, man. People need help.
He says after listening to the campaign manifesto of the two major parties, it became clear that the candidates are disconnected from constituents who need docks and boats. And that's why he says he continues to be a voice for the people, already affecting change.
I'm glad that I was able to advocate to tell the government to, fix the roads. We wanted to be paved properly. I'm glad that now they're considering opening the administration building now that I've brought it to the attention of the world, that it took 10 years to fix the building. Now they're saying they're going to open it on the 13th. And so at least by bringing these stuff to light, now we're seeing some action. We saw them put up some lights on it heading to the west because I advocated for those lights to go up in the west.
With the by-election now only a few weeks away, the Coalition of Independents ramped up the campaigning efforts, promising an exciting agenda.
Well, we have a motorcade that's going to be tomorrow. We're going to leave right in the area of Texaco and 8 Mile Rock, the shopping plaza right next to it. We're going to leave from there. We're going to drive all the way up to West End and drive back down here to Jonestown, our headquarters, where we're going to have a grill and chill. The food is going to be free, food and drinks for as long as you're here.
Bain asserts his roots as the son of the soil, and come election day, he's confident that he'll secure the seat and bring about the transformation the constituency needs.
I'm going to stand up for the people. I'm going to speak up for the people. I'm not tied to a party. If someone from a party wins, they have to toe the party line. They can't really do what they want to do.
Well, the Parliamentary Commissioner releasing a press statement for registration for the advanced poll as an overseas voter or special voter for the upcoming by-election. Shasheen Wolf Farquharson has the details.
Eligible registered voters in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency may apply to vote in the advance poll for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini by-election as an overseas or special voter. Overseas voters are a student or the spouse accompanying such student pursuing a bona fide program of study outside the Bahamas, a member of staff of any embassy, high commission, or other foreign mission of the Bahamas who is posted overseas, or the spouse of any immediate member of the family living within the household of that member of staff, a member of staff of the Ministry of Tourism, the Bahamas Maritime Authority, or other agencies of the government of the Bahamas, or the spouse of any immediate member of the family living within the household of that member of staff, or a public officer or a member of staff of any delegation who is on official duty overseas, or the spouse of any immediate member of the family living within the household of that member of staff. Special voters are nominated candidates and their spouses, election day workers, election officials, or employees of the Parliamentary Registration Department, any registered voter entitled to vote at an election in the constituency, and who is a person with disabilities or 65 years or older on the day appointed for taking of the poll. Doctors certified individuals with illness, infirmity, pregnancy, or recent childbirth, documentary proof required, and unable to vote on the day appointed for the taking of the poll, or any person not being a person who qualifies to enroll as an overseas voter under Section 49A and who expects to be overseas on the day appointed for the taking of the poll, such as a confirmed traveler already scheduled to be out of the country. In-person application sites for persons wishing to make Form J or Form K applications are allowed on the following locations: New Providence, Parliamentary Registration Department, Farrington Road, Nassau, or Grand Bahama, the Administrator's Office, 8 Mile Rock, Grand Bahama. Form J applications for eligible overseas voters may be completed and the application submitted to their nearest Bahamas consular or High Commission office for onward transmission to the Parliamentary Registration Department in Nassau. The Form J is available at the Bahamas Consular High Commission offices or the Parliamentary Registration Department, the Administrator's Office at 8 Mile Rock, or online. Now, the notice also adds that it is important to note that applications in respect of an overseas voter must be submitted so that it is received by the Parliamentary Registration Department within 7 days of the issue of the writ of election. Special voters applying by Form K or persons wishing to apply locally may visit one of the office's in-person application sites listed on Form A and Form K, and applicants may apply using the mygateway.gov.bs website. The scheduled hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The application window closes on November 4th, 2023 for overseas voters and November 13th for all other applicants. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shashina Rolf-Farquharson.
The impact of natural disasters is the focus of a 3-day seminar on Grand Bahama. That story, sports, and more in the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need. And extended hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Every Sunday from noon until 4 p.m., join us at Portobello's Restaurant at the Grand Lucayan for a delicious full buffet spread. Call 373-1333 for more information.
List your home in Grand Bahama with H.G. Christie. Visit their new office in the Port Lucayan Marketplace. H.G. Christie, celebrating over 100 years of service.
Nomination Day. Candidates race for the seat. Smith.
I'm here to pledge action.
Grant.
The people's voice needs to be heard.
Bain.
Why should you go with a third party this time?
Swain.
The causes that you fight for.
Burrows.
Burrows for Better Bahamas.
November 6th on ZNS. Live coverage begins at 8:30 a.m. Hosted by Ricardo Lightborn. Your #1 news team covering the North, Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. In a concerted effort to fortify support for Caribbean nations grappling with the aftermath of critical challenges, the U.S. Department of Agriculture Forest Service, through the NICAR program, is orchestrating a 3-day seminar at the Pelican Bay Resort. The seminar focuses on addressing issues such as the impact of natural disasters, bringing together stakeholders from the region to exchange knowledge and showcase their local efforts. Team lead Shelly-Ann Lawson-Francis and Craig Dahlgren of Perry Institute sharing the importance of the seminar.
The impact of Hurricane Dorian has had such a huge impact on the island, and it has many examples of how we can also approach restoration and conservation as a region. So we have some fantastic organizations locally doing great work, working with communities. We have partnerships among NGOs. We have partnerships with universities and with the government. So it's a great example of what will work well when you're doing mangrove restoration and conservation.
Today's seminar is real important because we have people from all over the Caribbean, all with different stories to tell about what they're doing to restore mangroves and other forest systems in their countries. And we can all learn from each other and what we're doing with different approaches to meet different needs that have worked somewhere that we want to try to bring here.
Assisting as a facilitator, Dr. Andrew Moxie, the Dean of Faculty at UB North, and he believes that Grand Bahamas stands to gain significantly from the knowledge exchange and collaborations taking place during the event. Expressing their expectations for the seminar, Kemba Jaramogi, a representative from Trinidad and Tobago, elaborated on the challenges their region faces and their eagerness to find solutions through engagement.
As you know, the focus of the event is mangrove restoration, and that is certainly an issue of great importance to Grand Bahama in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. There are several entities who are engaged in the same exercise, and that is good. So the conference brings together a few of those researchers and stakeholders.
So one of our major issues within our landscape in Trinidad and Tobago, we are faced with bush and forest fires within our country. And looking at the amount of resources you need to manage such engagements, but also looking at how fires start, where they start, why they start, what is the historical, thing behind it. Because once something is embedded within our culture, it's very hard to grow out of those practices.
Switching gears now, Freeport Primary School is commemorating a significant milestone marking 35 years of educational excellence. To celebrate this momentous occasion and highlight the school, a series of major activities have been planned.
Its doors for students in September 1988.
And so we're going to celebrate from the smallest all the way up to possibly some of the oldest persons who would have passed through our doors so that they can know what Freeport Primary School is all about.
Throughout the years, countless individuals have walked through the halls of the school, later becoming successful professionals in various fields of expertise. The school is now extending an invitation to all alumni and the wider community to join in on the upcoming celebrations.
We've also planned November 11th, a fun run, walk, cycle-a-thon. We will start here from the school at 7 a.m. We will lead out to the Lucaya roundabout and head back to the school. We want to end in December 2nd with a gala banquet under the patronage of our Minister of Education at our Lucaya, 7 p.m. And we're just excited. And we invite all of you to come out and support, whether you are a parent, present and past, whether you are a corporate sponsor in the business community. We invite all of you to come and join us in our celebrations.
Well, your Friday check on sports is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. The Tip-Off Classic got underway earlier this week. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mary Boleg, was in town for the opening ceremony.
I would like to take this opportunity and congratulate all of the coaches who put in the hard work and dedicated time to be here with you and mentor you through the game of basketball. Don't just learn basketball from these coaches, but also learn life lessons. And in those life lessons, they too prepare you to be more productive citizens within our country.
As far as Day 2 scores, BMES defeated Mary Star 40-31. Study Hall got the win against 8 Mile Rock High 34-30. Sunland Stingers was victorious versus Jackie with 35-10. And the Tabernacle Falcons got the W against St. George's 46-32 in the feature game. Switching gears now in sports, Grand Bahamian Yvonne Lockhart will be inducted into the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture class of 2023 National Hall of Fame this weekend for her contribution in softball.
My long-term vision is to see that continuity going on long after I've retired, and that we can, because we tend to forget about our past and everybody coming in with new ideas. Yes, it's good to have new ideas, but you should build from the past. And I hope to see more of our young players eventually get a softball scholarship, go off, come back home, pour into the younger players, and subsequently build our national team program.
And finally in sports, scores from the Grand Bahama Volleyball Association games played last night. In women's play, Youth in Action, Fair Play defeated Nesbitt's Rental Angels 25-23, 25-27, and 15-10 in 3 sets. On the men's side, the defenders beat out Youth in Action AID in 2 straight sets, 27-25 and 27-16. Ladies and gents, that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
Fluid Factory presents Rick Ross live in concert Saturday, December 23rd at Gombe Park, Freeport. Early bird tickets, general $35, VIP $50, and platinum $85. Fluid Factory Skybox $150. See you there.
Calling all PLP! It's rally time! This Friday, November 3rd at the Jonestown Park 8 Mile Road with special appearance by Veronica Bishop, the Coaches Band, and the Platinum Knights Joking Approved. At 7 p.m. sharp, with PLP candidate for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Mr. Kingsley Smith.
They're here to deliver real solutions, not empty rhetoric.
Along with the Right Honorable Prime Minister Philip David and party officials. PLP, let's do it again.
#1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Carol Roll, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We hope you are enjoying your special birthday, and we thank you for always being an encouraging voice to us here in the North. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Raven Davis. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, Creating Tourism Opportunities. SBF convicted. Balmoral rejected. And in sports, baseball player gives back. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC,
Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. It's the kind of news Sam Bankman-Fried and his parents dreaded. On Thursday evening, a jury found the former crypto tycoon and FTX CEO guilty of all 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy, a dramatic downfall for which he faces more than 100 years behind bars. Online reports are that the verdict was handed down after 15 days of testimony and 4.5 hours of jury deliberations. SBF was found guilty of stealing billions of dollars from accounts belonging to customers of his once high-flying Bahamas headquartered crypto exchange FTX, and for defrauding lenders to FTX's sister company, Alameda Research, which held FTX customer funds in a bank account. Well, Acting Press Secretary Keishla Adderley gives us reaction from the government during today's OPM briefing.
Well, the United States, like the Bahamas, is a country of laws. Mr. Bankman-Fried faced trial based on the crimes that he's now been convicted of. The Bahamas has from time to time collaborated and cooperated with the United States when it comes to suspects who where, the interests of the United States and the Bahamas cross paths, and will continue to do that. But he's being held accountable for the crimes that he's been convicted of in accordance with the laws of the United States.
Adderley also responded to whether the country's image will be negatively impacted by this turn in events.
Fortunately, and because the administration was prudent, there were laws in place to guide the financial services industry and the fintech industry, which safeguarded us at the end of the day. So the administration is happy that those things were in place. We were able to jump into action very swiftly with the liquidation process, so that the image of the financial services industry could remain whole.
Bankman-Fried sentencing is scheduled for March 28, 2024. Well, while SBF's guilty charge is getting traction worldwide, we spoke with a former FTX digital markets employee here in the capital, who says Thursday's verdict brings the group of Bahamians one step closer to closure following an antagonizing year. The former FTX employee verified that since the company's closure, the best Bahamians have identified a place within the crypto space, which they believe speaks positively to FTX's impact here in the Bahamas. Well, meantime, prosecutors wrapped up cross-examination yesterday of disgraced fashion mogul Peter Nygaard, who's on trial in Toronto, Canada, for sexual assault. According to the Canadian press, jurors were shown photos and video, it said, contradicted some of Nygaard's previous testimony in the trial. 5 women testified that Nygaard sexually assaulted them in the bedroom of his company's Toronto headquarters. Now, once the trial wraps up in Canada, Nygaard is expected to be extradited to the United States to face similar charges for offenses committed there and in the Bahamas. Crossing over now to news from Parliament, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senator the Honourable Ryan Pinder, says the new Registrar General bill should address the vexing issues experienced at the Registrar General's office.
We will, in law, separate the company registry from the civil registry and run them autonomously to ensure proper service and expertise is delivered in each. We will launch a new online company registry portal, which will contribute to the ease of doing business and lower the cost of doing business in the Bahamas.
This will also add more changes to birth registration.
Gone will be the days of having to camp out in front of the Registrar General's office in the weather and the elements just to register a birth. Not only will we do that, Madam President, Gone will be the days of having to actually come to the Registrar General to register a birth, because we are going to put in each major hospital a birth registry, so you can register the birth at the same time the child is born in the hospital. That will be uploaded into the digital system. So you'll be able to print off a certified copy of the birth certificate when you get home from your computer. That's what we're doing.
Meantime, Leader of Opposition Business in the Senate, Darren Henfield, not at all impressed with the government's performance, which he deemed lackluster. He suggested more attention be paid to crime, and this particularly in the wake of the recent shooting of another man on bail.
Missing from the bills, though, Attorney General, is an amendment to keep people in jail. People who are on bail. I know the story. I know the story, right? The police. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do, but we have to do something about it, because just this week we had someone shot outside a gymnasium, right? He was on bail from 2014. So our system, I wouldn't call it your system, right? So our system is flawed. If it takes a constitutional amendment, which in that area is very dangerous, all right? If it takes some kind of other amendment to a legislation, a bail act or anything, something has to be done.
Parliamentary Commissioner taking a closer look at election operations, offering insight into the poll working process, handling of ballot boxes, and the training of election workers. Ramiko Knowles of our Northern Service tells us more.
This disclosure comes as the nation prepares for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency by-election. Arthur Taylor outlines the process for poll workers and those taking part.
You know, we just came off an election, less than 2 years ago now. And we used the same persons, those who were available to us and who were already trained. But we still had training sessions with them. I must add, we have Ms. Arthur, who is the administrator in Bimini, as his deputy returning officer on the system. In that case, we used the people who were there, we trained them, we had to bring in 1 or 2 new people.
There are 14 polling divisions in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency. Advanced poll voting is scheduled for November 15th, 2023.
Monday past, we'd have sent out notice online and to our councillors in the various places around the world, asking them to be aware that we've put it out. Persons will go online and identify where they are and that they're interested in voting in this upcoming by-election because they are from the West Grand Bahama Bimini constituency. When they will turn it into the council offices, they will then inform us how many persons they have, and we'll then put the wheels in motion to send presiding officers there to those places.
An essential question during every election is, how do officials ensure transparency in the voting process?
Most of the time, we advise the parties involved. Once we find out on nomination day who's running, we'll know who to talk with about identifying them and having agents aware of the movement of the boxes. You see? Okay. And we will let them know when they're arriving. They will be there when we hand them over to the presiding officers. And then on the return, you know, the night of the election, they do a count, which is the unofficial count. The very next day, we do the more official count.
Taylor also sheds light on the process for Bimini, which is geographically separated from the constituency.
You know, the boxes transferred from here to Grand Bahama for the recount. In that case, we'll have the agents from the different parties who are participating involved in the movement of the boxes. They'll be on the plane, whatever plane it is we have, to bring them over, along with the presiding officer and the officer who is responsible for the box, the police that is, and the assistant returning officer from Bimini.
Now, we attempted to find out how many persons have registered for the upcoming by-election, and the Parliamentary Commissioner notes that they are in the process of cleaning up the register, and an updated registry will be released on November 13th. He also says the names of the voters will be posted in the local daily, as well as at the information centers at the various polling stations. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Ramiko Knowles.
Well, thanks, Ramiko. Progressive Liberal Party leader, Prime Minister, the Honourable Philip Davis, headed to Grand Bahama tonight for that party's first rally in Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock. Meantime, the Free National Movement's candidate, Ricardo Grant, is expected to be on the grounds in Bimini over the next few days to meet with supporters. A Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Bain asserts his roots as a son of the soil. He's confident then that come nomination day, he'll secure the seat and generate transformation in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency.
Stand up for the people. I'm going to speak up for the people. I'm not tied to a party. If someone from a party wins, they have to toe the party line. They can't really do what they want to do.
Still to come, town planning rejects another project. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat. Unlike the no-gets, at KFC, we hand bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
Now that the Bahamas has locked in record-breaking tourism numbers, the real work comes with keeping those figures up. Our Jimenita Swain tells us more of what a senior hotel exec shared with the media during today's Office of the Prime Minister's briefing.
Good evening, Makushla, and good evening, Bahamas. The hotel sector, the latest, boasting about the recent record-breaking numbers recorded in the tourism sector. In fact, President of the Bahamas Hotel Tourism Association, Robert Sandy Sands, says the focus now is converting the spend between cruise and stopover visitors.
When we look at the spend of a cruise passenger versus the spend of a stopover visitor, for example, this year, a cruise passenger is spending approximately $85. A stopover visitor is spending close to $2,700. So the conversion of 5 to 10% of those individuals, even if they went over the stopover, would have an incremental and positive impact on revenues for the country. Right now, I think that the numbers are extremely small, but even a 5% conversion, which will result in, even at the numbers that we're getting now, 500,000 additional stopover visitors, would make a significant change to the stopover landscape.
Now, Sands says another element driving the growth in the tourism sector is, of course, airlift.
And where we have seen growth, certainly in the Family Islands and growth in New Providence, is a direct result of airlift. So this is something that we have to continue to work on. The introduction of direct flights from Los Angeles to New Providence will open up a whole new market for this country, and also creates a gateway for multiple amounts of persons.
But there is a challenge in the mix, the drop in room inventory.
Our biggest opportunity lies in increasing our stopover visitors, and that has been hampered most directly by a reduction in available hotel rooms, some 25% of our inventory. down as a result of a number of reasons. We are aware of Malia, we are aware of hotels in Grand Bahama, Paradise Island. Fortunately, we have British Colonial coming online in December of this year, which will bring an additional 350 rooms.
Sands holds that the Bahamas brand is strong, a welcome trend that will certainly play out heading into Thanksgiving. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Jimenita Swain.
The head of the Town Planning Committee is tonight explaining the board's recent decision to reject the Balmoral Club's proposal to expand its Sanford Drive site. Balmoral was seeking approval for an 8-story, 50-unit condo hotel, sparking both concern and opposition from both Balmoral businesses and nearby area residents and commercial tenants. Committee Chair Keenan Johnson says the concerns from residents were valid and heavily informed the 7-member committee's ultimate decision.
When you think about the location and you think about the height, I think height was a huge factor. We took into consideration the nature of what they were requesting in terms of the hotel. We looked at what the residents, the expectations, the legitimate expectations of the residents in terms of what they expected once they purchased and once they set up shop in Balmoral. And that's how we came to the conclusion that it was incompatible with what they were asking for that particular development.
Balmoral's given no indication whether it intends to appeal the committee's decision. Officials did get approval for a 4-story condo hotel expansion on its Western New Providence site last February. Johnson says that approval is still valid, but he reminds that there are time limit restrictions, which means works on the projects has to get underway by a certain date.
No, so those were 2 separate applications. They got the approval for the 4 stories, and now they essentially came back asking for 8 stories. So it's 2 separate applications. Okay. But it's worth noting that with any approval that is granted by town planning, there is an expiry time. There's a time frame for which to either get a building permit or move ahead with that approval. And if they do not move ahead within a 2-year time frame from the granting of that approval, then they would have to reapply for that approval.
A firearm, ammunition, and dangerous drugs all seized around midnight. Arrested in connection with the find, 3 men ages 50, 45, and 30 years old, along with 2 women ages 36 and 27. Operation Secure City and K-9 unit officers executed a search warrant at a home on Melbourne Road, Yellow Elder Gardens, where the illegal firearm containing a quantity of ammunition along with the suspected marijuana were discovered. Meantime, a middle-aged man could very well find himself before a judge after being found with a quantity of drugs last evening. As police tell it, a search warrant was executed on a Montrose Avenue business around 8:30 Thursday evening. It's there that they found several packages of suspected marijuana hidden in boxes. Officers also seized large sums of Bahamian and U.S. currencies believed to be the proceeds of crime. The marijuana weighing in at 11 pounds, that's an estimated street value of $11,000. Investigations continue. Well, as we head into the weekend, which on the onset bears a wet one, motorists are being reminded of their responsibilities on the road. It's a matter of safety for all of us, and so officials are working to get everyone on board. Here's Corvell Pyfrom.
National Security Minister Wayne Munro and Transport Minister JoBeth Colby Davis, flanked by senior officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force at the Elizabeth Estates Police Station this week, coming together to appeal to motorists to adhere to road traffic laws.
Again, this is an area where we say the police are trying to keep you safe.
The Road Traffic Authority and the Traffic Police has been combined in our efforts to crack down.
This bid coming just after the Transport Minister listed sobering statistics in Parliament this week, showing a rise in the number of traffic fatalities in recent successive years.
To date, there have been 46 road traffic fatalities, an increase of 4 compared to the same period in 2022. The number of fatalities involving females rose from 6 to 12. The number of fatality accidents involving motorcycles jumped from 4 to 8.
If you choose not to be safe, if you choose to be reckless, unfortunately, from the statistics given in the House by the Minister responsible, you're going to become a statistic.
Minister Colby Davis also announced a full review of the Road Traffic Act is underway, with possible amendments to the act to follow.
A lot of what we're doing in terms of implementation and review of the law would be in collaboration with the traffic police, because they're the ones that constantly engage.
And there's another vexing issue that we've perhaps all seen. It happens ad nauseum on the weekends. Boozed up drivers, reckless motorcyclists making a full all-out assault on our streets, creating traffic hazards, endangering not just their own lives, but the lives of other drivers and pedestrians. And this weekend, well, weather may prove to be an additional factor. Officials are fully aware that this is becoming increasingly problematic, and there's growing consensus that something has to be done.
You can take a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. We see this just about every Sunday. It seems to be a biker-type convention, up and down, and even running from the police. I have seen that.
In the meantime, this word of caution.
As Minister of Transport, I continue to urge Bahamians to slow down and to drive with extreme caution.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
Meantime, for the past 2 weeks, police traffic division officers, namely traffic motorcyclists, have been sporting a new uniform. As Acting Police Commissioner Lehman Delaveau explains, these officers serve a practical purpose. And despite the change, the public will have no trouble identifying them.
It's a dry fit, and what it does, it's a protection from the sun, from the officers. And so we are saying to the public, once you see those officers, they're in uniform, they have the police marks written on the back of their shirts, in addition to crest and their police numbers. So they're very easy identifiable. So it's no issue with the public. It's just as now all white, like I said, and very easy to identify the officers.
The Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity doing its part to school University of the Bahamas students on how best to protect themselves against domestic violence, and this with help from the police. Speaking to the group, head of the Domestic Violence Unit, Inspector Kendra Wallace-Wims, says she's shocked at the alarming number of reports made by female victims for protection orders against their alleged perpetrators that are withdrawn only days later.
And what they're actually looking for is protection order. And what that means is that they just want a safe space or a time period away from the perpetrator. Really and truly, they do not want to leave the relationship. They just want a period of time away from the perpetrator. And unfortunately, although they seek the protection order and it assists them greatly, but I've seen a trend where victims return to the perpetrators for various reasons. Some of the reasons are financial. That's because the perpetrator is the person who is taking care of the victim as well as the children in the home. And then you have fear and you have retaliation.
UB senior Jonathan McLean saw the session as informative and quite intriguing. Still, while domestic violence is prevalent among women, men too experience it with an attached stigma.
I feel as if a lot of persons say you're a man, get over it, but at the end of the day, you're a human being. And if someone is coming at your mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical in any way, shape, and form, you do have a right to feel some type of way about it and report about it. It's not you being weak. It's not you being, a punk, or however the society may try to spin it. It's you just trying to require or request your respect and your safety for the kind of your opinions and views. And the stigma around it is one that's not really supported.
Come Monday, the Bahamas will play host to the 76th Conference of the Gulf and Caribbean Fisheries Institute. This year's theme, linking service and society towards a vision for sustainable fisheries. The regional body, established to promote the exchange of information in the use of management of marine resources in the Gulf and Caribbean, will partner with the Ministries of Environment, Fisheries, Agriculture and Tourism, among others. Acting Director of the Forestry Unit, Danielle Hannock, speaks to the conference's significance.
With mangroves, we don't think about it, but they are the trees of the sea. And mangroves are where the estuaries are, meaning the nurseries of where our fish, our grouper, our conch, our snappers, where they're all born. So if we don't have those, we actually wouldn't have a fisheries industry. We can't eat mangroves, but we will need mangroves to eat. And so we want to highlight that fact that our mangroves, we are the second largest in the region. And so when I say region, behind Cuba, we have 54% of mangrove coverage storage in the Bahamas. We don't think of where our fish comes from or where our food comes from, but is an important part of our food security.
GCFI Chairman Dr. Alejandro Acosta was officially welcomed by Environment Minister, the Honorable Vaughn Miller.
For us, every time we pick a country where we're going, it's a challenge because we want to be able to bring to the country everything they need and everything they can use for future enterprises and for benefit from them. So it's a very honor to see the capacity that you have in-house and what really made us to realize we need to go back to Bahamas after 35 years because a lot of things are happening here and are happening here with the youth, with the education, and with the fisheries and all that. And Prescott was a really good example.
We're honored that they have chosen to come to the Bahamas this year. We expect around 300 international participants, persons that will be supporting, and about 150 to 200 persons locally, and they'll be doing it in person and virtually.
Well, Charles Fisher joins us in studio with a check on what's coming up in sports. Charles?
Well, coming up later on in sports, a former pro baseball player is giving back.
Now is the time to shop and save at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Bumblebee Albacore Flake Tuna, 142 grams, 89 cents. Best Value Cornflakes, 18 ounce, $2.79. Amalanda Milk, 1 liter, $1.19. Sweet Gala Apples, 3 for 99 cents. Chicken Leg Quarters, 10-pound bag, 99 cents per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
Do you hear that? That's Junkanoo. And that means that the Boxing Day and New Year's Day Junkanoo parades are right around the corner. Don't get left behind. Make sure to book your ads in the live ZNS broadcast of the Junkanoo parades. The most professional coverage of our national art form. Call the ZNS sales office today at 502-3800. Ask for the special Junkanoo advertising package and be a part of Junkanoo on the ZNS TV network.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Despite its many challenges, the Public Service Minister is admittedly proud of the work of civil servants. Vaughn Albury shares more details on anticipated promotions, the 52-week employment program, and more.
We have antiquated systems in the public service. We're still doing a lot of things in a manual way. And with the size of our public service, that's absolutely unsustainable.
The Minister of Labor and the Public Services Pierre Glover acknowledges that the machinery of government moves slowly. In any government ministry or department, the evidence is clear. Files and paper everywhere. Yet despite the seeming chaos, work gets done, albeit slowly, but yet happily. The minister acknowledges that change is underway.
I'm so happy that we're working aggressively towards a digitized HRMIS system, a digitized financial system that are integrated, that will help us to eliminate these problems going into the future. Like I always say, my concern is the workers, ensuring that after they give a good day's work, they get a good day's pay and that it's on time. So we're working through the issues. These are not new issues.
And the size of government appears to be growing.
The current size of the Bahamas Public Service countrywide is about 23,000 employees. Bearing in mind some persons are going to attrition out of the system through retirement, through resignations, and the like. And so as a result, the 52-week program, the PSPEP program, is a means of us onboarding new talent to the public service and filling those areas of gap. We're doing an analysis. We've almost there to ensure that when we fill the gaps, we're filling the gaps and building capacity in the areas that are most needed.
Overdue payments was an issue recently, but according to Minister Glover Rowe, that is not now the case.
I'm very excited to continue the process. I hope by the end of the year, because it's already basically going to be November, that we'll be completed with that. And there's 2 other promotional exercises right on the heels of this. So we're going to continue to acknowledge and recognize persons who have earned their promotions, who have worked and not been recognized, but now they're getting the recognition that is due.
With retirements and resignations annually, new talent is needed. Minister Glover Rowe is particularly happy with the quality of new hires, especially those hired under the 52-week program.
Extremely pleased. Everything is in a name. We remodeled and revamped the program, and we called it the Public Service Professional Engagement Program, because the goal is to attract professionals. And this is a great time to attract professionals, because post-COVID, we have persons that would have assimilated out of jobs for whatever reasons. And so now we have some strong persons in the job market that are skilled and qualified, but just don't know where to turn. So this has been an opportunity for the public service to attract some good and bright, the best and the brightest, I call it, employees that are looking for employment.
And with the end of Public Service Week, we say a special thank you to the 23,000 civil servants. For the Bahamas Tonight, I am Vaughn Albury.
Well, a number of career public servants who've made a significant contribution to national development were awarded for their work during an awards banquet at Mount Fitzwilliam last evening. Our Lloyd Allen was there.
Referred to by the Prime Minister as legends, on Thursday, 40 career high-level public servants were recognized for their varied levels of contributions during their years of service. Now, this being a major highlight during Public Service Week.
It has certainly been a lively and well-deserved week of celebration, fellowship, and professional reflection.
During his address, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, noting that much of what is celebrated as national development is directly linked to the successful execution of various tasks by public servants.
Whether it be renewing a passport, requesting a marriage certificate, seeking social support, or applying for a scholarship, government workers spend their days striving to give us what we need.
Now in its 21st cycle, the Public Service Week Awards highlights individuals who have committed to service, excellence, and patriotism.
This evening's honorees, we have persons who would have served for the past 50 years, retired secretaries of cabinet and permanent secretaries.
Civil servants think that they have to just obey and follow whatever the minister says. That's not so. We're there to advise.
You can see from what I indicated, the various positions that I held, that I could only have done that through the sacrifices of a wife who held a family together.
Work hard, be dedicated, learn to be selfless.
I started out about 50-something years ago. I served as ambassador in Canada for 5 years, and my wife was beside me, supporting me in every way.
Organizers conclude Public Service Week on Sunday with the announcement of the National Public Service Officer of the Year Award. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, in other news, World Vegan Day celebrated earlier this week. Here at home, a number of Bahamians have adopted the lifestyle, like mother, business owner, and activist Rhonda Wright, who's practiced the lifestyle for more than 20 years.
World Vegan Day, recognized on the 1st of November every year, it was established to raise the awareness about veganism, the lifestyle, and to bring awareness to and encourage people to reduce the impact that what we eat has on animals. 100% plant-based is how I transitioned. However, it was primarily for the purposes of health. Eventually, I embraced a vegan lifestyle, which includes not eating animals, so that's how we eat as a vegan, but also not wearing products made from animals, and also purchasing products that are not tested on animals.
Well, time now for the poll of the week, and this week we're asking, should the government adjust its posture and assist shantytown residents or demolish their homes? You can chime in on our social media handles.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Police are searching for two men, 33 and 53 years old, missing at sea. Western Police Station officers learned shortly before 8 last night that the two men were aboard a 65-foot vessel, Blue Water No. 2, that left Nassau on October 13th. The U.S. Coast Guard, Defense Force, and BASRA were contacted, and a search immediately mounted. So far, the results have been negative. Although just a little over 60 miles from Nassau, the community of South Andros can feel at times light years away. Development has been slow to the island, but that hasn't stopped the quaint community from finding its own way of developing. Despite infrastructural challenges, technology lagging, and typical struggles that come with living in an underdeveloped area, South Andros has managed to map out a pretty impressive tourism economy for itself. Chief Counselor Pastor Ashley Brown says the island reaps tremendous gain from sports fishing and hunting. This lifelong resident is sure of his community's economic potential.
Our community is basically a farm and fishing community, and we have been working on our local tourism product. That is our bone fishing lodge. Fly fishing is our #1 activity, and we are probably the largest hunting of the white crown pigeon and stuff season here in South Andros. So we are still in that season.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, McKishner. Mostly cloudy skies this evening. Temperature at 77 degrees. The wind's calming down a bit out of the northeast at 11 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.7 millibars. That is 30.02 inches. And your temperatures around the Family Violence this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 72 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Troll, Key, and Marsh, Abaco, and Harbor Island. 79 degrees there. 80 degrees in Roxanne, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, Landros, and Fresh Creek in Central Landros at 79 degrees. 80s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma, 84 degrees. 84 is also in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 81, Acklands, 81, Matthewtown, Unigo, 85, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 83 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the Northwestern Islands tonight through tomorrow, those winds are going to be northeast, initially 12 to 18 knots, but subsiding 10 to 15 knots over the ocean with the wave height 3 to 4 feet. Low tide will take place at 7:19 this evening. You can expect another low tide at 7:09 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands, winds east to southeast, 12 to 18 knots, wave height 3 to 6 feet. So we will keep that caution flag in place for the central and southeastern islands through Saturday. And as we take into Sunday, the winds will fall off light and variable in the northwest and central parts of our country. Seas very flat, 1 to 3 feet over the ocean after several days of very testing seas. Low tide 7:10 in the morning, high tide 1:35 in the afternoon. For the southeastern islands, winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots and wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance, but stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Third, send your letters to the editor to digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. Share your thoughts on current events or positive stories within your community. That's digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. We want to hear from you.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever sand dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
ZNS Total Sports brought to you by Sans Bear, who reminds you to recycle your beer bottles for cash in Nassau, Grand Bahama, and now Abaco and Eleuthera.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports on this Friday. I'm Charles Fisher, sitting in for the big guy who's on a little bit of a vacation. Well, the National Sports Hall of Fame banquet is set for later on this month, and tonight we continue to honor those with those special one-on-one interviews. Tonight, Jennifer Isaacs Dotson, a woman who has played numerous sports.
I feel a bit overwhelmed. I feel honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for 2023 with such an esteemed group. So it's indeed an honor, and I feel humbled that I've been given such an honor.
A woman of many talent, one can say she wore many jerseys and hats.
Dominated by volleyball, but of course, you know, softball is there, hockey, netball, every sport I played. The only sport I tell people I cannot play is golf. So what I played a number of sports, made the national team for a number of sports like volleyball, softball, netball, field hockey, and represented the country for most of those sports. So it's indeed an honor. So they consider me more a multi-sport person. When I stopped playing, I coached. Me and Dr. Linda Davis coached the 2 first national teams that left the country to play in North Seeker for the men and women. And that was historic. And then I'm also certified to coach at FIVB at level 2. I think I'm the only female who was certified to coach at that level as well. So it's not only just the sporting aspect, but also the coaching, the administration. I've been a part of New Providence Volleyball Association, part of the Bahamas Volleyball Federation, and now part of the Bahamas Softball Federation. So it is indeed a part, and I will continue to contribute and to give back to particularly youth of the country. I think that is important.
And talking about giving back, that is what former pro baseball player Anthony Seymour is doing. Recently, he donated baseball equipment to the Children's Emergency Hostel.
Spread the love of the game of baseball through, communities in the Bahamas. This is an initiative I've been at for about a couple years now, and it's like something I'd like to continue. Just giving opportunities to, underserved communities and kids throughout the Bahamas. So this is my presentation and my commitment to the Children's Emergency Hostel.
Accepting the gifts, Charlene Gibson, business manager.
He called the hostel and he asked if he can come and just bless us with some gifts so that the kids can learn how to play baseball. We have an initiative that is going on, and this would greatly assist us with the need of the instruments and all of the equipment that they need to learn the baseball game.
Battle for Atlantis basketball tournament tips off November 18th with ladies play in its 3rd year and 12th year for the men, beginning November 22nd. And Bahamian fans are in for a real treat this year.
As you've looked at our bracket online, you will see that we have teams like Michigan, we have Old Mississippi, where their head coach is none other than our Bahamian strong Yolette McPhee. And so we are looking for a great tournament and performance from these teams coming out of those divisions.
Director of Special Events at Atlantis and Tournament Director Shalanda Roll says bookings are high with Ole Miss coming to Bounce.
We know they are coming out. Our office are being flooded with calls for 2 main reasons for the women's tournament. One, for our Bahamian head coach that will be down, and also Howard University also tipping off, which is a strong HBCU school. And we have a lot of alumni here in the Bahamas that attended that school. So we're flooded with calls. We have lots of our local school groups and youth groups that will be out to support these teams as well.
And there is a special treat, especially for the female fans.
What Atlantis has done is open the gate for all of our, not just females, but the entire youth pack. We've extended complimentary tickets, especially to the women's game. We haven't seen as much attendance as great as the men. So what we want to do is make sure the women feel just as welcome and empowered, especially the young ones, to guess what, it's okay to go ahead and play sports. So definitely we've extended complimentary tickets to a lot of our local youth teams and groups to come on out, watch these women do their thing. And so Atlantis has driven that greatly. We've done a lot of service in the community in terms of youth impact and making sure that our youth are exposed to it. And so we tip our hats to our senior leaders who have given us that empowerment to go ahead and extend complimentary tickets to these youth groups.
And the New Providence Basketball Association will open their season next week, Saturday at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. Defending champs, Commonwealth Bank Giants, going up against the Rockets. For Michael Furley, Bain, and Ryan Turnquist, it comes down to this.
We still have our same core unit. We brought in some younger talent, fresh legs, so to speak. We had a few guys retired and one guy switched teams, so we got a few new pieces, but for the most part, it's still the same core guys. And our expectation stays the same. We're the defending champs. We're excited to get the season started. We know opening night is going to be a tough battle. That probably is going to set the tone for the rest of the season for us. So we're looking for a high-intensity battle come November 11th.
We basically kept our same core players as well. We made maybe 2 additions to the team. And, last year, Giants slip away just because 1 or 2 injuries. I mean, we're not going to let that happen this year, So opening night is going to be pretty exciting, It's going to be real exciting. We're not going to let them win. You know, they're the defending champions. We won the year before. You know, the ringers feel good on your fingers, so, you know, we coming back for another one.
And that's going to be it for Sports Friday. Thanks for watching and enjoy your weekend.
ZNS Total Sports brought to you by Sans Bear, who reminds you to recycle your beer bottles for cash in Nassau, Grand Bahama, and now Abaco and Eleuthera.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
With 3 or more vehicles looking for the perfect fueling solution? Well, look no further.
I can go to any Rubis service station and get fast and easy service without any form of payment.
I can top up my fuel account and generate reports anytime online.
We at Wildflowers enjoy significant savings from fraud reduction. The Rubis system provides optimum security and peace of mind.
Email Bahamasales@rubis-bahamas.com to sign up now.
First we plan, then we innovate, then we build. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we are committed to quality, to safety, and to service. We know that the road you take is just as important as your final destination. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, it is our job to make sure the road and the ride are as smooth as possible. From striping roads to building them, we are the right choice, the trusted choice, the only choice to help you build your tomorrow.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal, at the check-in counter, at security checkpoints, or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. In an airport environment, workers are often unaware of hidden physical, mental, or neurological disabilities that some passengers live with. This can lead to frustration and a less than ideal travel experience. So, how do we make the invisible more visible? At LPIA, we've implemented the Sunflower Lanyard program. The lanyards are visual cues for airport workers to immediately identify passengers who might need additional assistance. NAD is teaming up with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and key stakeholders at LPIA to launch the internationally recognized initiative. We're joining more than 180 airports and 26 countries already in the program. NAD is the first organization in the Bahamas to recognize the Sunflower Initiative. It's a way to show our continued commitment to making LPIA a safe, welcoming, and inclusive airport for all. Passengers needing to secure a free Sunflower lanyard can email sunflower@nas.bs or call 1242-397-8600. For more information, visit www.nassauLPIA.com.
Coming this fall, the Broadcasting Corporation will introduce a slew of new shows, including my show, What's Trending? Lifestyles in the Afternoon. Here's my producer, Tanya Smith-Cartwright, who will shed some light on what to expect.
Stacy, I cannot tell you how excited I am.
we're going to be dealing with entertainment, romance, fashion, travel, gardening. You're going to have a DJ. It's going to be just totally fabulous, and I cannot wait. I have a question for you, though.
Okay.
Are you as excited as I am?
I am so excited. I can't even tell you.
Fabulous. I mean, social media, you're going to be killing it. Trust me, I can't wait, and I'm sure the public can't wait either.
Well, we are very excited around here, and we want you to tune in to What's Trending Lifestyles in the Afternoon.
What's Trending? Coming this fall to ZNS Network, Lifestyles in the Afternoon.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, once again in the tropics, we have that area of low pressure in the Caribbean Sea. It's now approaching Central America, and it continues to weaken. Right now, the Hurricane Center is only giving it about a 10% chance of any kind of development. But once it moves inland, it will certainly waste away. But nevertheless, it will be spreading some heavy rain showers across Central America, and particularly Honduras and Nicaragua. They will start to feel some of those rain showers beginning tonight and tomorrow morning. Satellite pictures are showing that frontal boundary just to the south of us, still firing up pockets of showers and thunderstorms over the extreme northwestern parts of the country. High pressure remain in control, but it is relaxing, so you will see a reduction in the winds beginning tomorrow. Tonight, we're looking at cloudy with a couple of showers, even an isolated thunderstorm possible, 77 degrees for the low. And tomorrow, it's going to be cloudy again with a couple of showers and thunderstorms remaining in the forecast with a high temperature of 83 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, the wet stuff will be with us through Sunday, but thereafter, we expect the skies to start clearing on Monday. Lots of sunshine working its way into our forecast, and that will be the order of the day right through the balance of next week. Temperature-wise, quite nice. We're going to keep them in the low 80s for you. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. Before we leave, 60 vendors, a massage table, and an on-site chef demonstration. The big features of an employee health and wellness fair held on Paradise Island. Our Antoinette Smith was there.
As the old adage goes, health is wellness.
So if we're healthy, if we're whole, then we know our country is healthy and our country is whole.
And as for the folks over at Atlantis, well, they've taken that quite literally, using the charm of their very own grand ballroom to host a health and wellness fair for their team members.
It's important that we make certain that we let our employees understand that we care about them. We want to give back to our team members to make sure that they are well aware of the local resources that are there to help them to lead a healthy lifestyle.
It's why more than 60 local vendors line the ballroom's halls, some cooking up a healthy meal, others offering up a holistic suggestion or two.
Well, what we're impressing on them is to take their health seriously. And health is not just physical health. Health is your mental health, your financial health. So health is an all-encompassing term.
As the good doctor knows, a healthy portion of Bahamians, including the working class, are at risk for non-communicable diseases. The event serving as a reminder to stop, reflect, and recenter around health.
A healthy employee is a more productive employee, and we want the employees to not only be healthy here, but healthy when they leave so that they are productive in our community, and that they're also in a position to take care of themselves and their families.
So remember, health is wealth. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Antoinette Smith.
Well, thanks, Antoinette. And this reminder, remember, daylight savings time ends this Sunday, November 5th at 2 a.m. Set your clocks back 1 hour. And that does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.